Flagship beers. Flagship February was a hashtag and a movement that started in the US, as I understand it, as a reaction to the beer geeks' constant demand for new and exciting beers. You want to have the new, the latest, the most exciting, and you have the beer once. But if the brewery has the opportunity to brew a beer over and over again, it's much easier to improve the recipe, to improve the efficiency, and also to have a more stable income. And of course, I'm somewhat guilty of this myself, but in this video I thought I'd show you the Swedish version of flagship beers. I have excluded the largest producers, the real macro beer breweries, and instead focused on the real craft breweries. These are still just a small percentage of all the beers sold in Sweden, but they are all actually tasty. So what I've done is to take the best-selling beers from 8 of my favorite breweries, and maybe I can encourage you to buy one of these flagship beers as well, at least now when it's February. Let's start with the lagers, and these are important because if just a few more people order these instead of some other random macro lager, it will help the craft beer scene a lot. So this one with the funny name, Nils Oscar God Lager, which doesn't mean God Lager. God in Swedish means good, tasty. It's a real classic, and you can see a lot of reviews on YouTube on this beer, not only from Sweden, but from the US and the UK. Yeah, the aroma is so different from a macro lager. You can feel kind of the seediness. That is a good thing, right? It's like you feel the malts and the hops in here. Lemon and flowery honey, freshly baked white bread. I featured the organic and unfiltered version in my top 5 Swedish beers 2023, but I haven't had this in a very long time, so this is exciting. Skål! It's super tasty, and that makes me wonder why I don't buy this beer more often. But I guess this video is a reminder for me too. Let's open the other one straight away. Landsort lager from Nynäshamns Ångbryggeri. Nynäshamn Steam Brewery. And this beer was featured not long ago on the channel. The top 5 Swedish beers 2024. It looks a bit paler, actually. Maybe that has to do with the malts used. Smells delicious too. Not as flowery honey, but it has some other notes. A little bit more of the stone fruits, maybe. But you have lemon there as well. Also a nice malt base, maybe not as prominent as Nils Oscar, but let's have a taste again. Skål! Yeah, I really love this one. I guess it's a bit softer, has even lower bitterness. Both of these beers have low bitterness. It's just so moreish, as they say in the UK. Let's compare to the Nils Oscar. Yeah, that has more of a grainy, punchy malt base. Maybe a bit more of the lemon as well. Yeah, Landsort lager is softer, smoother, and I don't think I ever can grow tired of this one. Maybe not this one either. Let's move on to some English-styled beers. We have one bitter, one golden ale, and one English-styled IPA. And let's start with the bitter, because I think that is the softest of the beers. This one is called Bruks bitter. I guess like a table bitter. The alcohol strength is very low, 3.9% I think. And the OO Brewing makes a lot of fantastic beers, and I was a bit surprised that this was the big seller. I have kept the can almost in room temperature by the window in my bedroom, where it's a little bit colder, because I've heard that you can't drink bitters too cold, then you lose many of the flavors. This brewery is situated in Gothenburg. I live in Stockholm, and I think this is the only beer that I can get from the shelf here without ordering it. So it is truly a flagship beer. Yeah, nice. It's kind of caramel, toffee, also like orange marmalade. I think I can sense a bit of a grainy malt base there as well. Let's have a taste though. Skål! Yeah, still coming from the lagers, there are so much flavors in this very weak alcohol leveled beer. It has low bitterness. I do get some lemon. The malt base is very nice. It's like a soft, crusty, almost cookie doughy blanket. I don't drink bitters often, but maybe I should start. This is actually the perfect table beer. Then we have a golden ale from Finn. Brygghuset Finn in the south of Sweden, in Scania. And this is also a beer that I can get here in Stockholm. Usually I have to order all the beers from this brewery to get hold of them. I think this will be more bitter and also drier. Golden ales are actually not one of my favorite styles. Yeah, it smells really refreshing. Lots of lemon, almost going into the soapy territory, like dish washing liquid with the lemon. It's herbal as well, some white bread it seems. Let's taste it. Skål! Yeah, definitely a dry finish, and it's a bit of kind of rye bread malt base there as well. It's not as bitter as I remembered though. Yeah, I do like it actually. But this is a style I haven't wrapped my head around, really. It's like a dry North German Pilsner, but with lower bitterness and just a bit different, lighter maybe. And then Jämtlands IPA, the IPA of Jämtland. The province of Jämtland, that is. And this beer has also been featured in my top 5 Swedish beers 2023. For some reason I stopped buying this all the time, so it didn't qualify for the top 5 2024. But yeah, I know it's a delicious beer. Here we are back to the caramel toffee, butterscotch, syrup, some sort of marmalade. Apricot marmalade maybe. It smells really sweet actually. Let's see how it tastes. Skål! Oh yeah, it's really tasty. It's almost no bitterness there. Has the recipe changed? Or have I changed? From memory, this had a bitter punch. Well, there is some bitterness there. I can feel it now. Also almost like dry, dark bread. You have some bitter orange there as well, but it is the syrupy notes that dominate. Yeah, this is a beer I need to start buying again, as all of these beers, I think. And then the hazy IPAs. If you saw my Swedish hazy IPA video, this is a style that many Swedish breweries do well. These are just two of the best-selling beers. And as you can see, they are upside down. Because sometimes, at least during the last year, when you open one of the hazy IPAs, they are almost clear. And that just feels wrong. So I think this helps. Let's start with the New Sweden IPA from Oppigårds, because I think that is a little bit softer, not as dank. New Sweden, of course, is wink to New England, and New Sweden actually was not a colony, but a place where many Swedes emigrated at one point. Yeah, it's so strange when you mix styles like this. The next style you try, it's like, oh, finally this style. Yeah, just like a classic Swedish hazy IPA kind of aroma. It's kind of grassy, nettly, and tropical, of course. A lot of mango, a little bit of pineapple. I'm sure there are other fruits as well. Let's taste it. Skål. Yeah, I think this is a bit more gentle. It has a little bit of bitterness, a little bit of kind of a minty, nettly freshness, but most of all, tropical fruits and something sugary. Yeah, I always get kind of a sugar-coated feeling, even though it's not sugar in here. Oppigårds is maybe the largest craft brewery, and they have a lot of big sellers, but apparently this beer sells the best. Then Stigbergets West Coast, Scandinavian West Coast NIPA. It's a very complicated story. It's confusing. But this is maybe the most iconic Swedish hazy IPA. It's sometimes called måsen, the seagull, because of the design. Yeah, it's a bit more of the dankness. You get that straight away. Or like a sweaty or almost garlicky aroma. It's like you're going to feel it in your throat. Skål. Yeah, it's not like, you're smoking something, but you get that more dank flavors in there. Also something sugary again, or maybe like oat cookies. I wonder if they changed one of the hops. The classic is Mosaic, Citra, and something else, which I think this one still has. Yeah, you don't get as much mango in the Stigbergets one, the seagull, as the New Sweden one. And I think that's a good thing. Maybe before they were too close. Now it's more exciting to try them side by side. So don't just buy one, buy two. Last but not least, the dessert. Svensk Malt, Swedish malts from Remmarlöv. I think this is labeled as a Munich Dunkel. Anyway, it's a sweet, soft, dark lager. This brewery is also situated in the south of Sweden, and usually you can't just get one of their beers from the shelf. I batch order from this brewery. I love almost all of their beers. They actually had an IPA last year that sold even better than this one, but it seems like it has been discontinued. And I don't think I ever saw that one on the shelf, but this one has been for at least half a year on the shelf, which I love. So it's very lightly roasted, like super soft coffee. And you have some caramel, some orange, maybe some sweet dark bread. It smells so inviting. Let's taste. Skål! Yeah, this is just the perfect finish. It actually is like a dessert. If you had a meal, you're really full, and you don't want coffee and a cake, because that's too much, this is just perfect. And also actually with pickled herring, which we have with many of the holidays in Sweden, but mostly just a perfect finish for any day. If you are visiting Sweden, the chance is high you can get all of these beers when you walk into random Systembolaget store in Sweden. And if you live in Sweden, of course, you have no excuse not to buy these beers. Let me know your favorite flagship beer in the comments. More Swedish beer videos in this playlist. Thank you for watching, and remember, drink responsibly!